Hi, Moni.
How are you?
Good, good. How you doing?
Good, thank you.
Let's do it.
I gotta put my volume up. Okay. Hi, Doc. Hi, Dr. Law.
Taka, immiscible, justice,
Stands one nation
sin,
under
under
God,
God,
Indivisible,
with
with liberty
and
liberty and
justice.
justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much. Thank you very much. We will now open the public portion of the meeting. As you know, that's when the public speaks and the board does not speak. When we go into the board meeting, nobody else speaks but the board. So, if you're writing stuff in there, Marnie will get back to you or put it in the minutes in some way. We'll get you an answer, but it won't be live. So we're not being rude.
Bill,
So, and Marnie, recognize,
excuse me, Bill.
yes.
Would you rather open up
Public
the
hearing?
public
You
hearing?
Want to do the public hearing first? Okay, so I'll open the public hearing. The public hearing, Ross, is on what? Okay,
it-
Marnie.
It is BSA application number 1069-27BZ 6702 to 6724 New Utrecht Avenue. And the applicant is seeking to extend the term of an existing variance which expired on March 6, 2021 to operate the car wash, Simonizing room, and offices for a term of 10 years.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
This has been a
Bill,
car wash that's been there forever. Go ahead, Ross.
No, I'm sorry, Bill. Yeah, the board has, actually, we're gonna give them the history. The board has continuously and repeatedly okayed this variance. There has been no problems with the community whatsoever. In fact, it's been, I think the car wash has been a good neighbor. So this wasn't a controversial decision to bring to the board with a recommendation to approve it.
Great. Does anybody else from the public want to speak against this? So hearing none, I'd like to close the public hearing. Have a motion, please. Rabbi Pollock, Lori Winslow, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Okay. Now we will open the public portion. So you can raise your hand or chat, and Marnie will recognize you.
Nancy Lulu?
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes?
Good evening. Hope everyone's doing well. I bring with me greetings on behalf of District Attorney Eric Gonzalez to each and every one of you. I hope everyone enjoyed their Passover and Easter holiday. I would like to wish the Muslim community, our friends and neighbors, a peaceful Ramadan and an easy month of fasting. Just quickly, the DA's office remains very active. The Brooklyn DA's office remains committed to protecting our Brooklyn communities. I just wanted to emphasize the constant act of violence against the Asian community or any other throughout our nation is truly disturbing. The surge of anti-Asian violence has instilled fear across our communities, but we cannot afford to stay silent. If you believe you're a victim or a witness to a bias-motivated attack, it's crucial that you report it to our office's Hate Crime Bureau. And the phone number to our Hate Crime Bureau is 718-250-4949. As always, I would like to conclude by reminding everyone with our Action Center's phone number. If there is a matter or a concern that you would like to bring up or address with our office, please feel free to reach out to our Action Center's phone number at 718-250-2340, and I could be reached at lulun@brooklynda.org. Thank you so much, Community Board 11, and to all the attendees. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, this is Captain Chen from the 6-2 precinct, Nancy. I just want to say thank you to District Attorney Gonzalez for and the Hate Crime Bureau for his help, in pushing that hate crime arrest for that we had yesterday. And again, thank you for I just want to now he's in and then for the all 3 charges and then just pending for grand jury this next Monday. Again,
Beautiful.
I thank your office for the work that they do.
Thank you, Captain Chin, and I thank you for your partnership and leadership all the time. Of course, we work alongside with NYPD to make it a successful case. Thank you, Captain.
Great. Thanks, Cap. Marnie?
Yep. Danielle Shapiro.
Yes, I'm here from the Brooklyn Public Library. And in a couple of minutes, I'm going to put some links to what I'm talking about in the chat if anyone would like to copy it. Some of the things we would like to highlight are our grab and go kits. We have 45 locations where librarians are putting together grab and go kits for both children and young adults. We might be starting adults soon. We're looking at that. The material is picked up inside the lobby and take home, and it's a kit that they can put together. Masks, of course, need to be worn when they are coming into the library, whether it's to drop off material, pick up material, or do one of the grab and go kits. We have lots of virtual programs happening. I'm going to put a general link for virtual programs from our calendar. We also, at several of our libraries, New Utrecht is one of them, have what's called whispering libraries. While people are standing outside waiting to come in, they would be hearing music or authors reading, and this will be playing at certain times. Okay. And it started on April 1st. And we hope to continue this. Just one second. If you are a Brooklyn, New York City bicyclist who loves the library and looking to volunteer opportunity, we're looking for ordinary cyclists to cycle through Brooklyn and play our Whispering Library playlist from your bike. Okay, we have the equipment. I'll put the address if you were interested in contacting Mr. Whitney about this. And then finally, the libraries are doing a BPL outdoor event. And we are finalizing our details. We are looking for May. It would be at Diker Park if we get the permits that we need. So I just wanted to share that. Also, the final thing is several of our locations now have antennas on our buildings to allow Wi-Fi service within 300 feet of our buildings. And I'll put that into the chat as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, Marn.
Hannah Wieneman.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. I'm Hannah Wienerman from Congressman Jerry Nather's office. Pleasure to be with you tonight. So President Biden signed the American Rescue Plan into law in March. I just wanted to flag a few items that might be of interest to you all. So people should have been receiving their stimulus, $1,400 payments. If you are a Social Security recipient or other federal beneficiary, there was a little bit of a delay in getting those out. So they should have started being posted yesterday, April 7th. If you haven't gotten your payment yet, you can use the Get My Payment tool on the IRS's website, or you can contact our office and I'd be more than happy, our caseworkers would be more than happy to see what's going on and make sure you get these monies that you're owed. Rental assistance. So this bill provided an additional 21 billion in emergency rental assistance on top of the 25 billion that was already secured in December 2020. So in New York State, these funds will be administered through the Office of Temporary and Disability Assistance. They haven't put guidance out yet, but keep checking their website. And when we get information, we will put that out. Lastly, there's money in the bill for small businesses. So there was 1.25 billion added to the Shuttered Venues Operator Grants, and applications for that went live today, which is on the SBA website, and they will have detailed information about eligibility and the application. And the last item is that there's 25 billion for a newly created program offering up to $10 million in direct grants to restaurants and other food service establishments. The eligibility and application date has not been released yet, but check the SBA website for more details. I will put my contact information in the chat. Feel free to reach out to our office with questions about the plan or anything else at the federal level. Thank you all. Have a good night.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Please raise your hand.
Okay.
One
So-
second, I see someone.
Okay.
I'm just not sure who it is. Okay, we have a phone in. If you can just unmute yourself. It's a Galaxy.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. It's Gloria from Parks. How you doing today?
Hi, Gloria.
I think they told my Zoom. I don't know. I had a hard time getting on today. So how's everybody tonight?
We're good.
I just want to say thank you. I saw you recognized my anti-litter banner advertisement that they sent me. We put 2 corrals up, trash corrals in Bensonhurst, one by the new playground and one on the other side by the ball field. So it's like each one has 5 garbage cans, you know, to help with the garbage this summer. You know, I'm not sure how much staff we're gonna have, but you know, just let you know, I'm trying to get more garbage cans down further, but this was like an advertisement, so I had to put the garbage cans where most people will be this summer, so.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so that's it. I just want to let you know, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank
for
you.
helping me
So
out.
much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. David Nussbaum from the Department of Buildings.
Hey, Marnie, how are you? Hope everyone's
good.
doing well. Just checking in, nothing major. You know, there's this local law 152, which is this gas piping that needs to be inspected in all buildings except for 1 and 2 family homes, but that doesn't really apply to CB 11 at this time. Right now it's CBs 1, 3, and 10, and it was actually extended to June. But sometimes there's some, you know, neighboring people who may be attending, so I'm just gonna bring that up. We could, you know, I could post something on there also. Nothing really else unless you have, I know there were some constituent issues that we worked on, but unless you have something for me, let me know.
Thank you.
Good right now, David. Thank you.
Okay, everyone be safe.
Thank you.
And then we have Glenn Catrona. Mr. Catrona, if you would like to speak at the public portion, please unmute yourself.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties. I just wanted to thank everyone. I'm the applicant for the car wash, and I appreciate the sentiment there. I just wanted to say I grew up in this neighborhood, 7904 16th Avenue. My grandmother and grandfather ran an Italian-American Salameria there for over 60 years. My grandmother just passed last year at 106 and 10 months. And I was born in Bensonhurst, and I just want to thank all of you for your service. It's a wonderful community, and what an efficient board. I just wanted to make that comment and simply just thank you all for your consideration this evening in that viewing of that application. And I wish everybody great health and stay well. I won't take up any more time here, but thank you again.
You got it. Thanks, Glenn. Appreciate your kind words.
You bet.
Mr. Chairman, I don't see any other hands
Okay,
raised.
so hearing none, I'd have to take a motion to close the public portion. Okay, Bart, seconded by Jeffrey. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. We have a motion to accept the minutes of the March meeting. So we got Sal, seconded by Rosa. Are there any additions, subtractions, amendments? Hearing none. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, so that's so carried. We have Assemblyman Colton with us, and as always has been our, it's always been our routine, we let the elected officials go first. So you're on the air. You got to unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you.
No, you muted yourself again, Bill.
Mute?
Yeah, you're unmuted now. You're good. You're
Okay,
good. Leave it alone. You're good.
okay. All right, we passed the state budget yesterday that is going to have a lot of very significant things. It actually is one of the best budgets we've passed in terms of education and higher education, especially. In education, there's $1.4 billion going to foundation aid and a 3-year phase out of the monies that were owed to all the schools, the high need schools like New York City. So that was a big accomplishment. There's also $105 million for more UPK classes. There's also an increase in capital monies for libraries. There was a $20 million increase over what it was in the past, and that, you know, should be good news for the libraries. We restored all the cuts to libraries, so that was basically a good thing. With higher education especially, I was very, very pleased. The maximum TAP grant has been raised by $500. This is the first time in about 8 or 9 years that it was raised. Also, there's a 3-year phase out of the TAP gap, the difference between what the tuition would be and what students might be able to get from TAP. So in 3 years, that's being phased out. There's also a 20% increase for all the opportunity programs in college. And we did restore the cuts that had been made to Bundy Aid, which is aid to private colleges. Also, we canceled the tuition increase that was scheduled for CUNY and SUNY. So those are all very good things. But in addition to that, there is a $1.3 billion rent assistance bill, which I think the congressman's representative made reference to. Much of this is due to, you know, the stimulus packages that came from the federal government. New York got a lot of money, and we have to thank Senator Schumer and Senator Gillibrand, and of course our local congressman, you know, Jerry Nadler, for all that money coming in. There's also a money for homeowners assistance on mortgage relief, about $600 million for that. And there's also $1 billion for small business aid here in New York, which again were alluded to by the Congress representative. And there is an additional amount for excluded workers. The details of this are not completely available yet, but it will be $2.1 billion. The applications will have to be worked out with the rules and the eligibility requirements. People will have to prove a residency. They will have to prove their identity. They will have to have proved a work history, including by taxpayer identification numbers and other documents. But that's going to be a 3 programs that I suspect my office is going to have a lot of work generated because people are going to be coming in, and also the other elected official offices. These are 3 new programs that basically are going to be very, they're going to have a lot of money for the families here in this neighborhood. I also want to just mention that we have had a number of anti-Asian crimes that have been reported over the last few weeks. And I would like to really commend the 6-2 precinct. They've been very responsive. In a couple of them, arrests have been made. In other instances, they have been very proactive in terms of speaking at different organizations, sending their NCO officers to encourage people to report. As was said by the district attorney's office, people must report these anti-Asian crimes. If they don't report them, the police is not going to know about them. So we need to get them reported, and we're going to insist, and we're going to follow up on how the courts treat them. This should be treated very seriously, because a hate crime is a crime that not only damages the individual who is the victim, but the whole society is a victim. And today we celebrate the National Holocaust Memorial Day, and we can see what happened back then when hate crimes were not dealt with seriously, where people didn't speak up against it, they didn't enforce it, and we had 6 million precious souls that were lost in a terrible, terrible worldwide tragedy. So we have to make sure that we deal with hate crimes aggressively. And I think that, you know, with the 6-2 precinct, I think that is happening. Also, I just want to mention that there was some issues. I got a lot of calls this week claiming that construction work had started at 2147. There was an inspection by the building department on April 7th, yesterday, and they found that there was no construction work, that what was being done was some soil boring testing. And we're going to continue to watch that. We'll get that word out to the different groups that are involved, you know, what was happening. And if anything more happens, people are very diligent. I'm surprised how many calls we got so quickly the very next day after it started, after a truck arrived. So if they think they can sneak something through, it ain't going to happen in this case because people are watching. And then the final thing is, I just want to wish a happy Ramadan. That's going to be starting very soon now. And you know, all those who celebrate, we wish them a very, very happy Ramadan and a very, you know, good fast. As again, we enjoy each other's traditions and we share each other's traditions. So hopefully, you know, we're getting our way out of the virus. My office, by the way, has been sponsoring virus clinics, vaccine clinics. We had the first one, we had 70 vaccines. We have a second one, which is already, you know, totally been booked out, scheduled for, I think it's April 23rd. And we're taking waiting lists now because we're trying to schedule a third and maybe a fourth one. They're being done on 86th Street at Health Essentials, which has been very generous in giving the space. They have a very large space so that, you know, and they've been done through Rite Aid. So we thank Rite Aid, we thank Health Essentials, and we're getting a lot of, you know, seniors in particular who are desperately trying to get these vaccines, and we're doing our best to make them available. So anyone who needs the vaccine can call my office, go on a waiting list, and for the third event, and hopefully we'll have a fourth event after that to make sure that people can get the vaccines. If they want them, they can get them. So that's basically it. A lot of hard work ahead, and thank the board for, you know, being so community spirited and always being there watching out for the community. I'm very proud to have CB11 as the community board that covers almost all of my district. Just a little sliver is in 13, a little sliver is in 15, but 95% of my district is board 11, and I'm very happy about that.
We thank you, and Bill, it's a good partnership. Thank you so much. Captain Chen, anything you want to update us on?
Yeah, sure. You know, I could go over some of the I think everyone's probably interested on that hate crime arrest we had yesterday.
Yes.
With the incident that occurred. Actually, for our case actually occurred a little bit earlier in March. So basically, it's just when we got the complaint report, it's just a 64-year-old elderly Asian woman just walking down the street and then minding her own business, and some guy just walk up to her and then push her to the ground. And then at the time, because there's no statement and we didn't have any video, so at the time we didn't take it as a hate crime, because we didn't even know who the description of the perpetrator. All we know is just some guy walk up. We didn't know it's male white, male black, male Asian. So but then after a while, after we did some investigation, we able to find video. We were able to identify the perpetrator, and then soon as we we put our wanted flyer out for the perpetrator, and then we in 6-1 there's two more additional cases, and then on the morning of the April 7th, it was out on the media. They did a media request. It was out on the news, and then the CEO of 6-1 called me up, and then we had a little conferral, and then we were able to identify that person to be the same person that committed crime in the 6-2 on March 5th. And then seeing that it's a pattern, it definitely so he's targeting Asian seniors or Asian women. So we were able to speak to the hate crime task force, and we're able to talk to the hate crime bureau at the DA's office, and they charge all three. First, my NCO officer, my NCO teams, they went out, they picked up this guy because he's known perp in the 6-2, and then once we pick him up, and then we're able to talk to the DA's office, we're able to get them to agree on charging him hate crime. And since hate crime, it's not eligible for bail, so he should be staying in. And then next Monday, he's going for grand jury. And then we hope for the best, from there on. There's also, I think there's a couple other laws that passed that might, have the community interest a little bit, about the marijuana law that's passed by the governor. So yes, marijuana is legal now. Everyone out in the public with less than 3 ounces of marijuana, it's legal. They could smoke in the area that's where cigarette smoke is permitted. So if but if they are in the building, you could confer. If you get people complaints about people smoking in the building, in your building, you had to talk to your building management. Try to put in place some rules about no smoking in the building. Otherwise, because that just takes take away the ability of NYPD to do anything right now. But I do want to stress that public parks are still smoke free at this point. So I already instruct my officers. They'll continue to try to make sure that there's no smoking, anything marijuana or cigarette in the parks, and that way because that's really still a summonable offense in the parks. And then let's try to hold that last sacred ground for us, for our children.
Beautiful. Captain, thank you very much. Thanks for the hard work. Appreciate it. I'll now move to the public. We had a public hearing. It was for a variance for a business that's been there and been a good neighbor for many, many years. Ross Brady's Planning and Zoning Committee has asked us. There was nobody that spoke against. This variance just needs to be renewed every certain number of years. This is 10 years. So the committee is saying we should vote to approve it. So can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay, seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, I'll give you the chairman's report. In March of 2020, 2016, Community Board 11 formed a multicultural alliance of community leaders and community-based organizations that reflect the diversity of our community. The goals of the alliance are dedicated to strengthening the strong and vibrant Bensonhurst community through, I wrote this down, so I don't want to forget any of the parts of our mission. Through an environment fostering the values and traditions that respects and celebrates diversity, cultures, and heritage of our community. Last week, we held an initial meeting again because we wanted to address the recent AAPI hate crimes, and we'll be holding additional meetings to discuss a plan of action. I do want to say this. We stand side by our neighbors anytime there's any hate against any group, okay? And this community, remember, didn't always have the best history. You know, Yusef Hawkins was here years ago, and I think we've learned a great lesson from that experience. And ever since then, we've only grown more and more. This has become more of a melting pot, and we certainly respect the people that live and are here and are our neighbors. So anytime something happens against any of them, we all take up arms and say, hey, look, we're not going to do this to any of our people. Assemblyman Colton mentioned that, you know, the neighbors were calling him about that 2147. The good news is, and you know, sort of thank Marnie, because she's this little person that checks all the things. Remember, one of our key points of going after this homeless shelter was that they don't have the right zoning. So it seems that the Commissioner of Social Services has heard it a little bit, and he got to Councilman Traeger and said, well, you know, I think we're open to some alternative sites. So we are going to stay on it, like the Assemblyman said, and Marnie in her report will give a little bit better update. In the May meeting, the nominating committee headed up by Tony Troyer will give the officer recommendations for the next year. And if your term is up, please send your application in, okay? If this is your year, your board term is up, and you don't do that, they're gonna throw you off. And we've had many people get thrown off. Oh, I didn't think, you can't be lazy here. You know, it was due a couple of days ago. So, you know, please get out there. Marnie sends you reminders, pay attention to it. So Marnie, you're on the air.
Thank you, Bill. I just want to, Assemblyman Colton really addressed the issues at 2147 Bath Avenue. Our office received complaints from the community as well. People were concerned that construction was going on. They saw big heavy equipment go into the lot. And as the Assemblyman said, DOB was down there, they inspected, there were no violations warranted. And as of this afternoon, there are no new filings on that property. I just want everybody in the community to understand that nothing has changed there since we have last spoken and you last met. So I don't want people in a panic that something's coming in. We don't see any filings for a change of use than what was already approved for the 3-unit houses. So I just want to put that out there. And the previous permits that were approved for the homes, the permits expired last month and no new permits have been taken out. And I just want to reiterate once again, if you see something, I mean, of course you can call your elected officials, you can call our office, but you could also call 311 because it's important to document all complaints. And I just want to thank the Department of Buildings for getting an inspector out there so quickly on the community's behalf. It wouldn't be a board meeting this year if I didn't discuss garbage. But some good news about trash and garbage. The mayor recently announced the restoration of baseline funding for dedicated litter basket service and Sunday litter basket service. So the Department of Sanitation has been collecting up on 86th Street and all our commercial corridors that have litter baskets. And I think we're beginning to see some improvements up there. And it's really important for all the businesses who operate and the people that live in the surrounding areas who do comply with the law. You don't have to walk through garbage and trash and live that way for the few that don't comply. So, you know, many times we take a position and we do resolutions calling for additional services, but this time we have to say thank you. Thank you for all of our elected officials that put pressure and contacted the administration, where we're moving ahead, and hopefully it'll make a dent. That being said, the Department of Sanitation also announced a new precision cleaning initiative that consists of borough-based teams that will target cleaning of litter conditions, illegal dumping, and overflowing litter baskets. Now, these teams will be sent out based upon 311 complaints. And I always say this, it's great to, you know, tag the Department of Sanitation or reach out in whatever methods to get that area cleaning. And I do understand the frustration, but it's really important that we document these complaints, because we can talk about the conditions on any of the commercial corridors, but if they look in the system to see what's going on and they see 2 random complaints, we're not getting those resources. So I know it's frustrating trying to get your complaint in. You can always shoot an email. You can to our office. We'll be happy to put that complaint in. We do it online. It takes about 2 minutes. Or there's a great app that you can download. And if you have an Android or an Apple, it takes 2 minutes to get that complaint in and get a confirmation number. And you can always forward that confirmation number for follow-up. But it's really important that we have a record of what's going on. But prior to the mayor's announcement, I had the opportunity to meet Commissioner Grayson. He's the commissioner of the Department of Sanitation. He was recently appointed during a walkthrough of 86th Street with Councilman Traeger. And it was a great opportunity for us, you know, to walk through and really explain and show him the issues that we're facing. So I just want to give a shout out to Councilman Traeger for bringing the commissioner down here and doing that walkthrough. And they were committed to conducting aggressive enforcement on 86th Street from 20th to 24th Avenues. And they have issued this fiscal year up until last week, 24 summonses for dirty sidewalks, 74 summonses for sidewalk obstructions, and 6 for street obstructions. So we're moving in the right direction, and hopefully with the amount of summonses being issued, it's not the price of doing business that will see compliance. Local law 103 of 2019 requires owners of any 2-family and above residential units, so it's 2 families and up, who live within a hurricane evacuation zone. They are required to post an evacuation notice within the building or occupancy. This notice will inform occupants of the hurricane evacuation zone for that building and how to find the closest hurricane evacuation center. So these posters are required by April 30th. And I printed out, I'm not going to do a screen share because it's kind of difficult in our community to tell everybody what evacuation zone you're in. So if you see this color and you're there, there are flyers for each evacuation zone. You can look up your zone by going to nyc.gov/know-your-zone, and you punch in your address, it'll come up. It is not the same. I don't want people to be confused with flood zones. Flood zones are a whole different creature. These are the evacuation zones. We live on the water. We have higher risk to winds, coastal flooding, and you really should have that information. So you can print out the poster right online and put it in a little frame and hang it where you would. You're required by law to post your recycling site, 2 families and above or 3 families and above.
Saying 2-family homes, this was the most asinine law. 2-family homes, okay.
I didn't
But
do
in
it.
any event, it is what it is.
It is what it is. But if you live in a house where it's family, I think you just have to If it's a two-family, I mean, I think the goal was really 3 and above,
Yeah, that's
which
what
would comply with multiple dwelling, but it wasn't listed as that. I would assume that you can certify if you're challenged that you advised your tenant
Yeah.
that you're in an evacuation zone, but we can get all that information
Yeah,
out there.
We'll do that. We'll do that.
I looked, Bill, you're in one.
Yeah, I know I am. That's what I said.
Just one second, I pulled that up and I think that's all I have.
Thank
Oh, I
you.
just wanted to add. Community Board 11 puts out, I know the board received a news and update email. We're trying to do like a newsletter with important information that we'll be sending out. We did the first 2 as trial runs. And we're ready to go out to the community. So if there's anyone interested in receiving it, just email BK, the number 11 at cb.nyc.gov, and we'll add you to the distribution list. That's
Thank
it.
you. Okay, any old business? Any new business, Andrew?
Yes, thank you. I forgot how to raise my hand while I'm a co-host, so I appreciate you calling on me, Chairman. I had a few things just based on the district manager's report right now. Thank you so much for starting the newsletters. Great initiative, and also your office and the staffers in there for calling and reminding at least some of us that there's a meeting tonight. It's been a great help, I think, in getting attendance for the community board out there.
Wonderful, thank you.
Of course, but also this one is directed to the 6-2 and to Captain Chen. I wanted to highlight some of your officers, and also the Commissioner Shea had also highlighted them on Twitter last month. And I was reading the Daily News one day, and I came across this article that said Officer Marvin Cox and his partner Christopher Madar helped a mom deliver her baby, in Bensonhurst. And it was just an all-around great thing to read, just great news coming out, out of Bensonhurst about officers stepping up and helping their community. And so this happened around after our meeting in March. And so I just wanted to say in this meeting in April that, thanks to those two in your precinct, and pass along that good news that we appreciate,
And we're gonna give them, Andrew, some certificates of appreciation from community board.
Also join us on our community council.
So Captain Chen, make sure you get those 2 officers to Marnie's office.
Well, actually, they're
have
gonna
your
get the
certificate.
Cap of the Month award also
Good.
on our community council meeting. So
Beautiful.
yes, obviously, we're gonna get those awards to them as well.
Great.
But, it just shows that we're not just out there, fighting crimes. We could, help deliver babies too.
Great
And
job.
adding to that, this is Sonia. We're having the 62nd Precinct Community Council meeting on Tuesday, April the 20th at 7:30, and I put the information in the chat room.
Okay. Any other new business?
Yes.
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I just make 2 short announcements. The first one, April 10, 2 o'clock at Bay Parkway, 86th Street. Mayor's Office of Community Affairs and our volunteers will give out the flyers. This flyer Stop the Hate Crime, written in English and Chinese. Very, very important. Very good news too. They have telephone number there. Okay, May 29, NCO officer, 62nd Precinct will hold a meeting at our center, 124 Avenue O. It's very important too. Anybody talk about this hate crime, please come to our meeting because we have to limit the attendance. My telephone number, 718-975-0955. Please call me, okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Law. Any other new business? Hearing none. Happy
One
Ramadan.
more thing, before I forgot. There's going to be a graffiti cleanup initiative this weekend, on Saturday, April 10 at 11 o'clock. I just want to get it out there. We're going to start on 18th Avenue, 84th Street, and then we'll go to like several other locations, around the command.
Beautiful. Thank you, Captain, keeping us posted. All right, so for our Ramadan, friends. I hope you have a happy one. And we'll see you next month. God bless.